So you guys have a little bit of a different technology and offering than a lot of the other service providers here, which I think is quite interesting when walking down the aisles here at Hannover Messe. Can you maybe give a little bit of an overview, introduction to your company, to some of those that might not be familiar with Hydrogenious technologies?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes, of course, and I would like to do that by painting a picture. And I would like to invite everyone to stick with me and to imagine. And I think that's the best part to explain our technology. Imagine that you could use the normal existing fuel infrastructure with normal tanks, with normal trucks, like you already have them running on the road. Imagine that you could use existing fuel stations, the infrastructure at existing fuel stations. And imagine that you can transport a lot of hydrogen in just one truck. And that's basically our idea, our mission, and that's where our technology comes in.
So you guys do carriers for hydrogen. Can you kind of explain a little bit how that works and what that means?
Yeah. Yes, of course. Well, the basic idea behind it is we have heat transfer oil, which is our carrier, and it's called dibenzyl toluene. That's the chemical name for it. And basically what we do is we add hydrogen chemically to the molecule. It's a larger molecule, and we add hydrogen to it, and then it stays liquid. It's a liquid in the beginning, and it's later on the liquid, and then we can transport and store the liquid without any problems, atmospheric pressure, atmospheric temperatures. So we have all the challenges you see already in hydrogen infrastructure, which will be overcome with this technology, because we will make hydrogen in that way. Like with the liquid, we will make hydrogen handling way easier.
Because currently, right now, you're in the process that you do this carrier, but you also supply hydrogen to some of these projects. So what is the benefit of actually using this carrier in replacement of supplying with hydrogen? Can you kind of explain some of the challenges that you've seen within the industry and what this could actually offer as a solution?
Where should I start? Well, basically, I think one of the major problems in the industry is, first of all, having the high pressure, like having high pressure tubes, high pressure transportation. And then on the other side, you have the cryogenic part, which has to deal with really low temperatures. So I think because we have the liquid, which you can transport and store at atmospheric pressure, atmospheric temperatures, so you don't need to pressurize it. And you don't have the danger for exploding tanks and things like that. And on the other side, we don't need to cool it down either. So we don't need special isolations on the tanks. And then, if I may pick that up, on site, for example, if you imagine a fuel station, you could use existing fuel tanks on the fuel station for storing the hydrogen. And then you release it on demand. And the liquid we use is hardly flammable, non-explosive. It's not dangerous. It's not a dangerous good. It has been already registered at REACH and ADR. So it's not our idea, but it's already proved that the liquid is not harmful.
Great. So where is this being used right now? Where is your current market in terms of your products? Like, who are you focusing on? Is it regionally or international? Can you speak a little bit about your clientele base?
Well, we're a pretty young company. We've been founded in 2013, so we are currently developing our markets and our products. We see right now our focus in fuel stations and so-called hub and spoke technology, that you have one central hub where you, like at the hydrogen source, where you take the hydrogen, you put it in the oil, and then you transport it to different locations where it's being released. And our markets are, well, I think everyone agrees here with me, the major hydrogen markets. It's the United States, especially California. It's Asia, especially China, and also Europe, of course, because that's our home base where we come from.
Great. Well, I see that you brought something with you today. Did you want to speak to it and maybe show the audience an example of the carrier?
Yeah. Yes, thank you. That's basically just to show you how that would look. And if people want to scoot over at our booth, they can also take a look at it. That's the original liquid, the heat transfer oil, which is already used in the industry in large amounts. And it looks like that. And then when we add the hydrogen to it, it looks like this. And that's perfectly safe. I mean, if you want, you could drink it. I wouldn't recommend it. It's an oil. It's probably not that good. But it's not dangerous. You can smell at it. We can store it even in a box like that or in a bottle like that. And so no problems with that.
So what are your goals for this and for your organization in full? You know that we're doing the carriers right now. You're kind of doing more of the carriers and trying to move away from the hydrogen in terms of having to supply it. Can you speak to that a little bit in terms of your long-term vision and what your plans are in order to achieve that?
Well, our long-term vision is big. But I think being a young company, ambitious company, we have to have big goals. Our long-term goal is to have the hydrogen-free hydrogen society. So it's a little bit of a mix, but hydrogen-free of not having to handle the molecules, the gas, which has quite tricky aspects to it. But still having an industry with hydrogen, where hydrogen is being produced out of green sources and hydrogen is being used in fuel cells or other technologies.
And how do you see this shifting the current industry right now to be able to do that? What does that mean for the end user in terms of the different technologies that we're seeing here today? How can this benefit them long term? And what do you see in terms of an industrial shift using something like this?
Well, I think one of the major aspects is the security. So I think the biggest benefit is having a perfectly secure hydrogen source sitting on site and hydrogen being released whenever you need it. And but also talking about entering a market, you have to be cost competitive. So we're also working on that, and we see in the target picture that our technology clearly has a spot where it makes sense and where we can compete and be cheaper than the conventional technologies on the market right now.
Are you working with any particular partners right now that you can speak to? Do you have a case study about a project you can speak to right now?
Yes, of course. Well, we wouldn't have been here if that's not the case. Well, we have really strong partners. Let me mention, first of all, our investor, former Anglo Platinum, right now AP Ventures. It's a fund which invested in us. We have strong partners on each side because we're a small company, a young company, so we think that like developing an infrastructure like we're planning to do it, we can't do that alone. So we have strong partners on the side. We have, for example, MAN building the reactor we're using. We have Clariant building the catalyzer we're using. We have Sasol right now for the carrier liquid, producing the carrier liquid. We have, of course, our founders, the Friedrich Alexander University in Nürnberg-Erlangen, which are supporting us in a great deal. Of course, also the High Earn Institute in Nürnberg. And then we also have our customers, like, for example, Framatome, Areva, or in more specific being Covalion, which we recently, that's actually recent news, have a licensing agreement with them. You can also visit them here. And they're building fuel stations, and they want to do that with our technology. And then, last but not least, our first commercial customer, United Hydrogen in the United States, where we delivered first commercial systems. And to pick that up, that's our first commercial project. We have our very first project in industrial scale, let's say. It's with the Fraunhofer Institute in Stuttgart, where we have a system sitting there and running since June 2016. And then we have the first commercial project, and we're working currently on a research project, which will be the first LOHC fuel cell in Europe, in Finland, actually. So 2 systems being delivered to Finland. And then, sorry to be so long, and then we have like systems running in our store because we're doing constantly research on our systems to know the process, to make it better, more efficient, more cost effective. So we do have new systems also in our store, for example, to test 2 reactors running parallel and then gaining more knowledge of it.
And what does the testing entail? Like, how does that process work? And what does that mean to the end user? Like, why is that so important?
But the process basically works, it's a chemical process. So what it does is it's a catalytic reaction in a reactor. And on top of the catalyzer, the carrier liquid and the hydrogen are reacting. And then that's the one part, it's the storage part. And on the other side, we reverse the reaction, again, catalyzer, chemical reactor, and then we are able to, with adding a little bit of heat, we're able to release the hydrogen out of the carrier liquid again. That's basically how it works. And in between, you can handle the liquid however you want it. Like I said, it's perfectly safe. And to be advancing, we're working right now, but that's still early research, on going into mobile applications, like going on a ship, going on a train. There's a funding project with the Helmholtz Institute in Nuremberg, 25 million from the Bavarian state, trying or developing a prototype train running with our technology.
Wow, so you guys are doing a lot for such a young company, involved in a lot of different projects, a lot of different opportunities, both regionally and internationally. You're doing a lot of development and testing right now, and you're also in an interesting stage in terms of looking to commercialization and product launch. What is your message to some of the other companies and people in the audience, and is there a way for them to get involved or any opportunities for anyone here?
Well, of course, we're always looking for further cooperations. We do have some partners already, but there are still other ways for cooperation, and also we're looking for components for our systems. We're also looking for strategic investors, so that's also always a topic we can address. And then, of course, like being customer of our systems, if it is delivering a system or if it is delivering hydrogen out of our systems, that's all possible.
Great. This is a good time to ask the audience if there's any questions at all. Does anyone in the audience have any questions? Okay, I do encourage you to go and visit Hydrogenious Technologies at booth D49, which is right behind us. Thank you so much for joining me on stage here, and I'm sure people will have some more questions that come to mind later on in the day, and please visit them tomorrow, or today, before the end of tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time.